Hi everyone, I've been getting some questions about the recent photos I've been posting about the black t-shirts, and I want to let you know what's going on in Israel because this is the biggest thing that's happening in Israel right now. It is now the eve of Friday, March 20th. For the past 4 days, for the first time, Israel is not a democracy. The reason being, there are no more checks and balances to counteract our current government. Now, it's important to know, right now we have an interim government. For almost a year and a half now, we have not had an elected government. Bibi Netanyahu is not our elected prime minister. In the recent election, Benny Gantz, his opponent, has gotten the mandate from the president to form a coalition. He has gotten the most recommendations out of all parliament members to be the one to lead the next government. Now, the last elections were pretty much about whether or not Netanyahu is going to face trial for 3 very severe criminal charges, or is he going to get away with it? Very soon after the corona crisis started, Netanyahu's Minister of Justice announced that he would most likely suspend the judiciary. This was way before they suspended many other gatherings or activities. Before Netanyahu was supposed to face trial, the judiciary was suspended. There are many countries around the world that have been hit way harder than Israel by the coronavirus. None of them suspended the judiciary. The decision was taken at 1 a.m. away from newspaper reporters, away from the cameras, like a thief in the night. Currently, we don't yet have a parliament because we just had the elections. So this was the government making this decision on its own to save Netanyahu. The following morning, we hear about something else that this government did. They allowed a Shin Bet technology. The Shin Bet is Israel's FBI. They allowed technology that is meant to follow terrorists' cell phones to be implemented on any citizen of Israel. The excuse was that they wanted to follow people that have to stay in confinement. However, again, no other country has passed such a law. How is it that only in Israel we have to use such extreme measures? A day later, we wake up to a day when the parliament is supposed to start functioning. And then we hear that Yuli Edelstein, the chairman of the Knesset, who's also from Netanyahu's party, has suspended all activity, meaning he is not allowed to re-elect a chairman of the Knesset, which is something that a new Knesset always does, and he does not allow any committee to start functioning, meaning there is no functioning parliament to control what the government is doing. Now, the reason Edelstein doesn't let the parliament start functioning is because there is now a majority against Netanyahu in the parliament, meaning that if they get to vote, they're going to replace the Knesset chairman and they're going to start manning the committees who are supposed to watch the government's steps. This is how checks and balances work. A day later, people start protesting this. Now, as this is Corona time, we're not allowed to go out in the street and demonstrate, so people get in their cars and they start driving to Jerusalem in order to demonstrate from their cars, not going outside, keeping all the rules and regulations considering Corona. Outside of Jerusalem, they're stopped by the police. When they ask for reasons, the only response that they get is just, this is what we were told. You're not allowed to go into Jerusalem. Now, these are civilians driving their private cars into Jerusalem because they want to demonstrate our very preliminary right. And they're not allowed to go in. Not only that, they're given tickets for driving their cars on an Israeli highway. This is where we are right now. So there's no judiciary. There is no parliament. So right now, Israel does not have a checks and balances system. We have a government that has not been elected, a prime minister facing 3 very severe criminal charges who's evading trial, and he's now passing all these new regulations in light of the corona. Our personal freedom is being compromised, being taken away, and what we're witnessing is how our democracy is wearing out. Dictatorships don't necessarily form overnight. They just wear out over time. What happened in Turkey, you can see what happened in Russia, you can see what's happening right now in India, and what's happening right now in Israel. What I'd like to ask of you is that if you care about Israel in any way, please speak up, raise your voices, write something about this on Facebook, write to your representatives, to your congressmen, to whoever, your local newspaper, make your voices heard because we need this to be heard around the world from people who care about Israel. We cannot let this pass unanswered.